Good evening and welcome to the City of Roswell special called Mayor and City Council meeting of Thursday, December the 18th, 2025. I'm Mayor Kurt Wilson. I'd like to introduce my colleagues and council members present. Councilmember Sarah Beeson, Councilmember Christine Hall, Mayor Pro Tem and Councilmember Lee Hills, Councilmember David Johnson, Councilmember William Mortland, and Councilmember Alan Sells. This time, I'll now turn the meeting over to our Chief Administrative Officer and City Administrator, Mr. Randy Knighton, to explain how the meeting is run. Mr. Knighton.
Thank you, Mayor Wilson, and good evening again, everyone. In accordance with Section Chapter 3.70 of the City Code, the City Council shall hold regular public meetings, and the mayor can call a special called meeting, which we have this evening. And the purpose of these meetings is for the public to participate and speak on agenda items which constitute formal decisions by the elected body. These items, which are listed on the published agenda, which can be accessed prior to the meeting. And this is a public meeting, and some items do require a formal public hearing. An important component of City Council meetings is to hear directly from residents on items listed on the agenda. Residents are at the top of the organizational chart for the City of Roswell, and therefore it is imperative that public comments and questions are heard by Mayor and Council to consider as they contemplate each decision. If you are a resident and wish to speak on an agenda item, we ask that you please complete a comment card and hand it to one of our staff members. One of our staff members will be at the back of the room there. Please hand one of those comment cards to them. And they will be provided to the city clerk. Speakers are called by the city clerk for each agenda item in the order in which the cards are received. Also on tonight's agenda is an opportunity for Roswell businesses to speak, and so for a period in total of 10 minutes, that time is allotted for Roswell businesses. And if you have a Roswell business and wish to speak, we also ask that you fill out a comment card, alert our staff members. We want to make sure that we have an accurate record of the meeting. Again, speakers will be called in the order that cards are received. We ask that everyone observe the principles of mutual respect and display the appropriate demeanor during the course of the meeting this evening, which is reflective of this great community. And with respect to the proceedings, we ask that attention is given to the person speaking, and if it is necessary to have an independent conversation, we ask that you exit the rear doors to the vestibule area. The mayor is the presiding officer of the meeting and will ensure the orderly exchange of comments and questions leading to discussion and decision by the elected body. We encourage everyone in attendance in the viewing audience to visit the city website, the updated city website, the very proudly updated city website, for news, events, and meetings. We also encourage you to participate in the various activities and offerings here in the City of Roswell, and visit roswell365.com for a calendar of events. There are a number of events upcoming in the City of Roswell which promote community, physical activity, and leisure as we all make Roswell the #1 family community in America. Mayor Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Knighton. As always appreciate your leadership and your excellent reading of the beginning of the meeting. Thank you, sir. At this time, I can't think of a better person to ask than our Roswell Fire Department chaplain, Dory Griggs, to come to the front and lead us in the moment of silence and invocation. Welcome, Dory.
Please join me. Holy One, during this holiday season, we give thanks for the ability to gather here as one community to discuss the business of the city. We ask that you be with the leadership of the city and our businesses and community to work towards solutions and decisions to benefit all who call this great city home. We give special thanks tonight for the service of our esteemed veteran of Roswell, United States Marine Corps Corporal Doug Smith. Please watch over all our first responders, fire, police, 911 communications, and the emergency medical services. Keep them safe as they keep our community safe. Be with each person here this evening, and when they leave this place, grant them traveling mercies. And we rejoice with the Blessed Trinity girls flag football team in their great win this week. And now we take a few minutes for quiet reflection. Amen.
Man,
Thank you.
thank you, Dory. Always appreciate the wonderful job you do in taking care of our fire service folks and for all the invocations and prayers you've done in the last 4 years. Thank you so much. At this time, I have the great privilege of asking United States Marine Corps Corporal Doug Smith to come forward and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Doug? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Corporal Smith. I appreciate that, sir. I'm going to ask you to stay right there, if you would, as I ask the council to join me for the first item under the mayor's report, which is a reading of the presentation of the esteemed veteran of Roswell Ward. And y'all please be seated. Thank you. Proclamation, Office of the Mayor, Corporal Doug Smith, esteemed veteran of Roswell. Proclamation honoring Doug Smith as an esteemed veteran of Roswell. Whereas Doug Smith honorably answered the call to serve his country by enlisting in the United States Marine Corps in December of 1996 at the age of 24, committing himself to the highest traditions of military service, discipline, and leadership. And whereas during recruit training at Marine Corps Recruit Depot, Paris Island, South Carolina, in the winter of 1997, Doug Smith distinguished himself through exemplary leadership and dedication, serving as the guide of Platoon 2024 and earning a meritorious promotion, an early testament to his character and commitment to excellence. Whereas following boot camp, Doug Smith completed advanced training as a heavy equipment operator at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, mastering multiple complex pieces of equipment, and later continued specialized training at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, where he was assigned to Landing Support Equipment Company, sending 2nd Landing Support Battalion, 2nd Force Service Support Group. And whereas while stationed at Camp Lejeune, Corporal Smith was trained to operate cranes and container handlers, earned the Navy Achievement Medal for his outstanding performance, and was entrusted with the role of licensing non-commissioned officer, responsible for training and certifying fellow Marines in the safe and effective operation of critical heavy equipment. And whereas Doug Smith honorably concluded his active duty service in the early winter of 2000 with the rank of corporal, he continued his service in the Marine Corps Reserve for 4 additional years and was recalled in 2002 and placed on standby in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom until the completion of his reserve obligation in 2004. Whereas following his military service, Doug Smith has remained steadfast in his commitment to service through active involvement in the Roswell community, including leadership and service through Eden Lodge number 46 and Al Tarak Temple number 245, and through nearly 25 years of dedicated employment with the City of Roswell Recreation and Parks Department, where he continues to serve residents with professionalism and pride. Whereas the mayor and citizens of the City of Roswell are deeply grateful for Doug Smith's honorable military service, continued civic engagement, and lifelong commitment to serving others. Now, therefore, I, Kurt M. Wilson, Mayor of the City of Roswell, Georgia, do hereby name Doug Smith an esteemed veteran of Roswell, and call upon all our citizens to recognize his outstanding service to our country and to our community, and that there is no higher calling than those who serve the United States Armed Forces. Congratulations, Doug.
First of all, I would like to say thank you to you, Mayor and Council, and to everyone who made this possible. It's nice to be considered, but service is what I do. I want to thank the City of Roswell for allowing me to for employment and being here for 25 years. It has truly been an honor serving the citizens of Roswell, and I plan to do so for many years to come. Thank you.
All right, so Doug is amazing. Roswell uh, does amazing work. He's in charge of construction, by the way, over the Parks and Recs department. So we see him all over the city. If you haven't seen him, you will see him and his team, and they're here celebrating as well. The next thing is council. Stay right there, I guess, where you're at. Yeah, stay up there. Mr. Knighton, where are you? Sorry, this is not on. So one of the things, this is my last meeting, so I want to make sure that I just spend a moment of recognizing the incredible team and leadership led by you, Mr. Knighton, and all the incredible people that serve this city. So I want you to do me a favor, and I want you to call up all of your team up here, kind of recognize them so everybody can know who they are.
All right. All right. We've got a great staff here of the City of Roswell, and is evidenced by our esteemed veteran this evening, and it's a joy, a pleasure, it is a blessing to be able to serve the residents of Roswell each and every day. And so we'll start with a couple of things here. The mayor did mention a few minutes ago he might surprise me, so that's okay. What I'll do first is introduce our senior level leadership team. Sharon Izo, Senior Vice President and Deputy City Administrator, as well as Jeff Leatherman, Deputy City Administrator, Joe Panino as well. Chief Legal Officer, David Davidson. Chief Operating Officer, Don Stevens. Chief Financial Officer, Bill Godshaw. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is surprise them. I'm going to hand the microphone to each one of them, and your respective staffs who are here, you'll present them. Starting with Sharon.
Greg Nicholas, our Interim Director of Transportation. Looking. I don't see Brian Watson. Okay, I'm going to pass the microphone.
We've got Stephen Malone in the back, Recreation Parks, Historic and Cultural Affairs Director, Michelle Alexander, our Community Development Director, and Daryl Conley, our Economic Development Director.
I have Joe Cusack, who's actually handling the meeting.
My team is busy working, sorry.
We have Julie Breckbill, Communications Director. Come on up.
Tell you what, all Roswell staff, come on up. Is that okay? Come on up, everybody, come on. Got to take pictures. Okay, come on, come on, come on. Everybody, come on. Okay. All right. Awesome. This is awesome. Before I hand the microphone back to Mayor Wilson, I did have a few prepared comments for later in the evening, but since we are here, I certainly wanted to provide my sense of gratitude to Mayor Wilson, Council members Morthland, Hills, and Johnson, and certainly I have immensely enjoyed working alongside you. supporting your efforts and your vision for the city of Roswell. I certainly have gained a great measure and significant measure of knowledge from each one of you, and that's made me a better person, a better public servant. And so I wish God's and pray God's richest blessings upon you and upon your families.
So, yeah. I just wanted the community, you don't get to see them much together, and there's a few missing. This is an amazing team. It's an amazing group. It's led by this wonderful man here. It's an amazing culture. I can't tell you how gratifying it is. I think the council joins me in this, is that these are incredible people serving our city, and I wanted to get a chance before I got gone that everybody would get to see them. I'm sorry there's a few missing. So please give them a great round of applause. All right, so for the real reason we're here is we have, does anybody know we have a new state champion in the city of Roswell? So I'm gonna go ahead and ask, Kathy, are you here? Is Kathy Lancaster here? She's not. Ricky, you're here. So Ricky, come on up. Coach Harwell, come up. Coach Schmidt, Coach Oshensky, and Coach Handler. We're going to let the stars come up in a minute. I'm going to let you call the stars up, Coach Harwell. But Ricky, I just want you to talk a little bit about these amazing girls and this program this year.
Well, first of all, I want to say when they won the semifinal game, the first thing I called Coach Harwell and congratulated him they said, "Do we get to go see the mayor?" That was the first thing they asked, wasn't it? And so I said, I will call first thing tomorrow. So we appreciate you having them down there and having us back here again today. But I tell you, what a game. We've had a lot of fortunate games go our way in the state championships, but this is one of the most exciting ever. And to do what they did when they only a minute and a half left, and we get an interception and go down and win it, and tie it, and then go to double overtime and win it. It was just amazing. These girls work hard. They don't only work hard in the field; they work hard in the classroom, and they're so respectful with everything that they do. And so I'm just fortunate to be able to be a part of this and be their athletic director.
You are fortunate, but you do have a great program. By the way, council, come down and join me as well. And if I have newly elected council, Jennifer, I see you there. Come up here and join us as well. Do I have any other newly elected mayor or council that are here? Anybody else here? Because I want you guys to join in this celebration of these amazing ladies. So, Coach Harwell, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. Will you call these young ladies up one by one to come be up here?
Absolutely. Thank you. Okay. We'll just go right down the line. So first up is Allie Neville. Senior. Followed by senior Amelia Como. And I'm going to slide this way because even standing up, I'm pretty short. Followed by senior Isabella Filiberty. Junior Kenna Brown. Junior Alex Bilson. Senior Hannah Daly. Senior Maggie Sullivan. Senior Addison Wickramesekara. Senior Sydney Reapy. Junior Addie Wilson. Junior Libby Vola. Junior, Catherine Darr. Junior, Caitlin Yimbras. Sophomore, Morgan Daly. Senior, Abigail White. Sophomore, Avery Pfeiffer. Senior, Claire Landry. Senior, Adeline Kramer. And then last but certainly not least, MVP of the championship game, QB1, Addie Spack. It's quite the crew.
Well done. All right, ladies, get here in the middle. Come and pile in the middle. Okay, we can do the stairs. 100%. Why not? Come on, council. All right, so ladies, I got some really good news for you. So you guys probably know we do videos, and then the girls get to talk a lot. And so I don't want to kill you tonight because I know we got an agenda. And so I'm just going to hit up a couple of you, okay? So a couple of you are going prime time. This is going to go viral if you screw it up. All right? So I'm going to start with QB1, MVP. So tell me the most important thing about this state championship and these colleagues of yours and what it means to you.
I think it's just our commitment to each other and our love for one another. It really brought us together, and like it was a minute and a half left. I just threw a pick, but you know, I trusted. Addison got an interception, and then we had enough trust in us to let Maggie get that touchdown at the end of the game. Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the state champion, Blessed Trinity Young Women's Flag Football of the state of Georgia. Just made it happen. Let's give it a big round of applause.
All right, squeeze in on the side. Yeah. All right, keep smiling.
What do you know?
Mayor Wilson, pursuant procedures for the Roswell City Council, I move to amend the published agenda for the December 18th, 2025 special called meeting by adding the following item under the mayor's report. Item number 2 shall be added to our agenda, reading of a proclamation for the esteemed veteran of Roswell Award to the United States Reserve Specialist for Kurt M. Wilson.
Second, Mayor Wilson, I humbly request that you call for a vote regarding the amendment.
I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. Alan?
Shall I?
Oh, man. What's the call for a vote for, what am I calling a vote for?
To accept the motion to,
Motion to, is there a motion to amend the agenda?
I motioned and.
Motion by Councilor Hills?
Yes.
Okay, seconded, thank you. I'm sure your agenda is motion or whatever, so whatever you got to say.
All in favor?
Yeah, all in favor, yeah. Let the record show.
Mayor, if you'd meet us down on the floor.
What are we doing? Well, coming down? That's a long time ago.
All right, Mayor. Your night.
Oh.
All right. Proclamation honoring Kurt Wilson as an esteemed veteran of Roswell. Whereas Kurt M. Wilson honorably served the United States of America as a member of the United States Army Reserve, demonstrating dedication, leadership, and an unwavering commitment to duty. And whereas Kurt M. Wilson enlisted in the United States Army Reserve in April of 1980 and served with distinction until his honorable discharge in 1983, achieving the final rank of Specialist 4, SP4. And whereas, during his military service, Specialist Kurt M. Wilson was assigned as a clerk supporting the non-commissioned officer education system with the 3392D United States Army Reserve School under the 121st United States Army Reserve Command in Huntsville, Alabama, where he served from July 17, 1981 to July 11, 1982. And whereas, through his acceptance of responsibility, exceptional personal initiative, and outstanding leadership, Specialist Wilson contributed significantly to the efficient operation of the school and successful administration of non-commissioned officer training programs across northern Alabama. And whereas, in recognition of his meritorious achievement and exemplary service, Specialist Kurt M. Wilson was awarded the Army Achievement Medal after being nominated for the first United States Army Reserve Soldier of the Year in 1982, an honor reflecting his highest traditions of military service. And whereas his record of service includes repeated recognition for superior performance, including receiving the Colonel's Orderly Letter of Recognition on 2 occasions, serving as a squad leader during basic training, and consistently exceeding expectations throughout his training assignments. And whereas Specialist Wilson's service extended beyond the uniform through his selection for a prestigious United States Senate internship in 1982 on the staff of Senator Howell Heflin, as well as his active involvement in community service as a volunteer counsel at the Roebuck Correctional Institute, a nursing home volunteer, a Veterans Day speaker, and a member of the Boaz Chamber of Commerce Industry Planning Committee. And whereas, following his military service, Kurt M. Wilson has continued to exemplify the values of service, leadership, and civic responsibility through his longstanding involvement and leadership within the Roswell community, serving as its mayor and earning the respect of gratitude of its citizens. Now, therefore, I, Lee Hills, Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Roswell, on behalf of all of these colleagues right here with me and everyone in this room and beyond, to 95,000 people, I do hereby name Kurt M. Wilson an esteemed veteran of Roswell and call upon all our citizens to recognize his outstanding service to our country and our community, and that there is no higher calling than those who serve in the armed forces. We love you, Kurt Wilson. And now the moment we've all been worried about.
Yeah.
Mayor?
Yeah. Well, listen, like a lot of people, I didn't want to go in the military. Kind of fought it And for like a lot of people, it was the best thing ever happened to me in my life. Instantaneously turned me from an underachiever into an overachiever. And it instantaneously, if I could give a gift, I think most of us feel the same, like if you could do something benevolent for the greater good for everybody, like for me, one of the greatest forces perhaps in all of humankind has been the United States military for a lot of reasons. And one of the things that I wish for today as a people is that everybody had to serve, and I'll tell you why, is because it breaks down elitism. It breaks down walls. And you find out very quick that you have to prove yourself and demonstrate yourself as who you are with your skivvies, right? There's no pedigree, and then you have to work out things with other human beings very quickly. And you also find out how much you rely on other human beings, and you also find out the things that you're good at and the things that you're not very good at. And it is a tremendous gift. It was a tremendous gift for me. And, my dad kind of forced me to go. And like a lot of things, he was right. And it was one of the greatest things, like a lot of people, like most service, it's not fancy. It's not fancy. It's just good. And I was blessed enough to be able to do it. So it's been a blessing to honor all these amazing people in Roswell, our esteemed veterans. I'm excited about that for this city. I think it matters because I do think it is honoring one of the best things you can do, which is service above self. And that's really what this is about. And these guys as well, that's what you do. And I think the people we had up here, and I think you know that. So anyway, thank you. Nice surprise. Yeah, God bless you guys. I'm honored beyond I can possibly say and that could possibly show. But thank you very much. God bless you. Well, we got to go back up. Come on, right? We got a meeting, right? That's the first time I've ever got to bring one back up. It's kind of cool. Okay, next on the, bye, Blessed Trinity. All right, next on the mayor's report is the appointment of Robert Mayer to the Planning Commission. Does council have any comments or questions? Yes, ma'am, Councilmember Beeson.
I just want to preface my vote. Probably should have prefaced my vote last week or last meeting as well. It's not that I have any lack of faith in Mr. Meyer whatsoever in his ability to pursue this position. Reason I voted no last week, as well as we'll be voting no this week, is just in the interest of an incoming administration and a new council. Would like to defer to the new administration to be able to select, just because anybody who serves in commissions or boards, they serve at the behest of the mayor. So with the understanding that new leadership is coming in and that there is no issue with lack of quorum for the Planning Commission at this point in time, I will be voting no, but it is by no means lack of confidence in Mr. Meyer.
Thank you, Sarah. Are there any additional thoughts, comments, or questions? Councilmember Hills.
Yes, thank you. And to follow up with Councilmember Beeson, we also, 4 years ago when we came in, were given Mr. Randy Knighton without our approval. And what a gem he has been for us. So this isn't an indictment in any way what Councilmember Beeson says, but it is absolutely within our rights and it is legal. So we're grateful that we got you before our time, Mr. Knighton.
Thank you, Councilmember Hills. Thank you, Councilmember Beeson. Any other thoughts, questions, or comments on the matter? All right, being there none, do I have a motion to approve this appointment? Motion made by Councilmember Johnson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Hills. All those in favor of the appointment of Robert Mayer to the Planning Commission, please do so by raising your hands. All those opposed? Let the record show that the vote is 5-1, and the appointment does pass. Congratulations, Mr. Mayor. If you'll please come forward and to read the oath of office, please, sir. Mr. Mayor, has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? All right, if you would, Robert, please raise your right hand and place your left hand on the Bible and repeat the oath after me. I, Robert Mayer, solemnly swear
I, Robert Meyer, solemnly swear
or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States
support the Constitution of the United States,
and of the state of Georgia,
state of Georgia,
and that I will in all respects
and I will in all respect
observe the provisions of the Charter
observe the provisions of the Charter,
and ordinances of the city of Roswell.
ordinances of the city of Roswell.
And I will well
I will well
and truly perform the duties
truly perform the duties
of the office
of
Roswell Planning Commission,
Roswell Planning Commission,
and that I will, to the utmost of my skill
that I will, to the utmost of my skill
and ability,
endeavor
to promote the interest
to promote the interest
and property
property
of said city
of said city
without fear,
without fear,
favor,
favor,
or affection.
or affection.
So help me God.
Help me God.
Congratulations, Robert. Thank you. Okay, looks like the last item here in the mayor's report, almost last item, is opening up the meeting for comments for Roswell business owners about anything related to their business. Nancy, do we have any Roswell business owners who'd like to speak?
Yes, Mayor, we have one speaker, Jason Yao.
Welcome, Jason.
Yes, and what I'm speaking about is the lease that was signed with Fulton County that was on the agenda at the last mayor and council meeting. It seems to me that
Jason, this is a matter relating to your business that you're asking for the council to consider in relation to your business?
yes.
Okay.
If you recall, last week I asked if there was any way that the new provisions in this lease disadvantage my property that is in the middle of Azalea Park, which the city leases from Fulton County. And the answer was no. On review of the new lease, that's not exactly true. Big provision, big change. You're legalizing, and you got Fulton County to acknowledge the legalization of the sale of alcohol in Fulton County recreational property. The violation up till now, till that lease, of Fulton County ordinance. Fulton County ordinance is enforceable in this regard because it is providing a service and in the form of the lease and in the form of the presentation to the public that it is a joint facility of Fulton County and the city of Roswell. In fact, for the last year...
Jason, I'm sorry, I'm unclear on how this relates to a request that you have.
Yes, because you're giving yourself the ability to have alcohol sales, and it disadvantaged me. I did a beer garden. I established a proof of concept, and then the previous mayor shut it down. She engaged in what it was, in my opinion, a pattern of illegal activity to allow alcohol sales on the property next door by the boat rental place. So now that you've legalized it, you've disadvantaged me. And that's a problem. I'm also a little disappointed that you were not more forthcoming last week when I asked about this particular point. Am I being disadvantaged? Are there any new provisions in this lease that are not in the original lease? And this is a big one.
So I'm still not clear. You have an existing business that this is affecting?
I own more property in Azalea Park than the city of Roswell.
That wasn't the question. The
My
question
business
you're
is
an-
real estate development.
So it says reference to existing real estate development on Riverside Park?
Azalea Park,
Azalea Park?
yes.
What
Because-
real estate development is going to take place? I'm not clear.
Well, it's a matter of the unlawful zoning that was imposed on my property in 2014. That's actually not only unlawful because it was a blatant act of inverse condemnation, but technically the zoning doesn't exist because in 2014, at the second reading, the UDC was read into the record, and there was a council person who objected to just the map itself not being specific enough, and he wanted the spreadsheet to be the dominant document that established the map. And that spreadsheet ostensibly has every parcel in the city by parcel number, by address, by owner, by original zoning and zoning after the UDC was implemented. And the irony is that parcels in Azalea Park, including my parcel, are not in that spreadsheet, which means the zoning map that says my parcel is conservation isn't really, because it's not substantiated by the dominant document, which is the spreadsheet. And so now you've gone a little bit further in disadvantaging my property, because now you're going to have a beer garden next door again. Only this time it's going to be legal. And I am at a disadvantage. And that's not right. It's another taking of a different sort. And it's something the city has been doing with me and this property for some time, and I just want that read into the record. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jason. Thank you very much. All right. Last on the mayor's report is the Roswell results update. I think that belongs to Mayor Pro Tem Councilmember Lee Hills and Councilmember Sarah Beeson.
Thank you, Mayor. As we wrap up an incredibly productive year for the city of Roswell, we're excited to celebrate an important milestone in our ongoing efforts to support thoughtful growth and economic development. The city is moving forward with one of its most significant downtown redevelopment projects in decades with the Hill Rose Market, a mixed-use development that will transform a key gateway property adjacent to City Hall into a vibrant new community destination. We invite the community to join us for the Hill Rose Market groundbreaking tomorrow, Friday 19th at 10 a.m. The ceremony will be held at 39 Hill Street with parking available right here at City Hall, 38 Hill Street. The project will include 75,000 square feet of commercial space, new apartments and townhomes, a shared use parking deck and public green space, and a pedestrian promenade, all designed to enhance the downtown experience for residents, visitors, and businesses alike. We hope you'll join us tomorrow and help celebrate this exciting moment for Roswell. Councilmember Beeson?
Thank you, Councilmember Hills. We'd like to thank everyone who donated to the North Fulton Community Charities Holiday Food Drive hosted by the City of Roswell over the past month. With the help from our community, we collected donations at 6 city facilities. The Adult Recreation Center and the Bill Johnson Community Activity Building led the way. And together we donated more than 800 food and essential items, including diapers and wipes. We made 2 full trips to North Fulton Community Charities during the drive, and the final delivery filled every single seat, including the back of the van. So good job, Roswell. Your generosity truly made a difference, and we thank you for helping make the season brighter for our neighbors in need. Tonight, we're also excited to share that the City of Roswell has officially launched a new redesigned website at roswellgov.com, one of the most significant digital upgrades in the city's recent history. The new site is mobile-friendly, easier to navigate, and organized around the services residents use most, making it simpler to pay bills, apply for permits, request services, access city council meetings and agendas, and stay informed about city news and projects. And at this time, I'd like to invite Julie Breckbill, our communications director, and Ben Fry, our visual communications manager, to provide a brief walkthrough of our new website. And they also led the project team to initiate this, so thank you to them for their hard work.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm pleased to share that the City of Roswell's new website is officially live. The city has launched a modern, mobile-friendly, and service-centered website designed to make it easier for residents and businesses to interact with the city. The new site simplifies everyday tasks like paying bills, requesting services, finding city council meetings and agendas, staying informed through news and updates, and exploring city programs and community resources. The redevelopment of roswellgov.com began with a competitive RFP process in December of 2004, resulting in the selection of GovWeb as the city's website vendor. The project was guided by a cross-departmental website advisory group that included Ben Fry, Joe Panino, Don Stevens, Kara Kramer, Elon Buchan, council members Sarah Beeson, and Dave Imbach. The website was delivered on time and under budget, with remaining funds encumbered to support continued site enhancements in the new fiscal year. The site directly supports the city's commitment to service excellence. Our previous website was more than a decade old and no longer met today's expectations or technology. The new platform provides a more transparent, accessible, and user-friendly digital experience for everyone. I'd also like to also recognize some of the cross-departmental collaboration that made this possible. We had staff from, of course, communications, the IT department, and other departments across the organization who helped us review the content of the site, improve the service pages, and test the functionality to ensure that the site reflects the city's priorities. This launch is a really important milestone, but it's also a foundation. We'll continue refining and improving the site based on feedback and then the performance data that we'll be getting from it. We invite residents to visit the new website and take advantage of the improved online experience. And I want to thank Mayor and Council for all the support, not only for this project in communications, but also for the dashboard that we launched a few weeks ago. So I'm going to turn it over to Ben Fry. He was the project manager on this and did an excellent job, and he's going to show you the site.
Mayor and Council, I'd like to take a moment to thank all of you for your support on this. It's been a long time coming. I'm so excited to tell the residents of Roswell that we finally have a website that we can continue to develop and make better and solve problems that occur and really truly communicate with our citizens in the best way possible. I've created a demonstration video that we're going to be putting on social media to kind of give people an overview. I'd like to take an opportunity to show that to you now.
The City of Roswell recently launched an all-new iteration of roswellgov.com, the city's primary website, designed to improve usability, accessibility, and mobile performance, while organizing content around how people actually interact with the city. The homepage features a powerful site search, including a curated list of top searches that helps direct users to popular content quickly and efficiently. Directly below the site search are prominent action buttons highlighting the most commonly requested services and information, allowing users to complete key tasks with minimal clicks. Next, the site provides high-level navigation options that guide users based on the type of site visitor they may be, whether they are visitors, residents, businesses, or individuals seeking municipal government information. The homepage also includes sections highlighting recent projects, city demographics, and city news, which is automatically fed from the city's news site, roswellconnections.com. In addition, city events are fed from roswell365.com, along with a listing of upcoming city meetings, ensuring timely and accurate information is always displayed. At the bottom of the site, users will find city contact information and quick access to the city's social media channels. When navigating to a popular department page, such as the Recreation, Parks, Historic, and Cultural Affairs Department, the layout and structure of the homepage are mirrored. This provides consistent functionality across the site, including department-specific action buttons, contact information, high-level navigation, projects, metrics, news, events, and department-specific social media platforms. The site is fully responsive, meaning it's designed to adapt seamlessly across all screen sizes, providing a consistent experience on phones, tablets, and desktops. It was also built with accessibility in mind, meeting modern standards for contrast, navigation, and screen reader compatibility, so all users can easily access city information. In short, the new City of Roswell website is resident-focused, easy to use, and future-ready.
Again, we want to thank Mayor and Council for all your support. Councilmember Beeson was awesome working with us on this, the mayor as well. Thank you all for all of your help with this. It's a long time coming, and we're really happy to have launched it.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, team, for all your hard work. Congratulations on the delivery of that. The city's going to be better off, but thank you. All right. I think that's the last item on the mayor's report. And so we go to, next is the consent agenda. I believe there were 6 items on the consent agenda. City Clerk Nancy Long, are there any Roswell residents who would like to speak on the consent agenda?
There are no speakers for this item.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Does council have any comments or questions regarding the consent agenda? Being that there are none, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Motion made by Councilmember Sells. Do I have a second? And by Councilmember Christine Hall. All in favor of approving the stated 6 items on the consent agenda as understood, please do so by raising your hands. Let the record show that the vote is 6-0 and unanimous, and the consent agenda passes to this evening. Thank you very much. Next is the regular agenda. City Clerk Nancy Long, would you please read the first item on the regular agenda?
Yes, this item is approval to accept the FY 2026 road resurfacing list presented by Deputy Director of Transportation, Greg Nicholas.
Thank you, Nancy. Welcome, Greg.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So this item is the 2026 resurfacing list. Just a little bit of background. The City of Roswell's FY26 budget included approximately $3.1 million set aside for citywide road resurfacing. Staff has provided a list of roads to resurface that would equal the $3.1 million. The road list is there in your packet. It's also on the right there on the screen. We do have approximately 13.6 miles that we are anticipating resurfacing next year with the $3.1 million. Just a couple of road highlights real quick. Bullock Avenue, that is on the list. That will be done after the work at Mimosa Hall with Recreation and Parks Department is complete. So that'll be done next year. And then Canton Street is another big item, and that is Canton Street from Magnolia up to Woodstock Road. That will be done, parts of that will probably be done at nighttime just to alleviate impacts to the businesses and traveling public. And then Riverside Road, this is on the east side from Old Alabama to Eves Road. And that one, the PCI is fairly low on that one. We get a number of complaints, especially from cyclists and recreational users. Just a number of potholes that we have to continue to fill. So that one should be good to go next year. Let's see, I do have a quick map. This is just a quick overview. You can kind of see We do try to spread the dollars throughout the city, east, west, and central, throughout the city. So with your approval tonight, next steps would be we'll go out to procurement here in January. I'm hoping to have a contractor on board by February, March, and then start paving and resurfacing come April and May once the weather gets better. With that, we'll entertain any questions.
Greg, thank you so much. City Clerk Nancy Long, are there any Roswell residents who'd like to speak on this item?
There are no speakers for this item.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Council, any thoughts, comments, or questions on the item presented? Councilmember David Johnson.
Greg, I know Director Watson's not here, but could you elaborate a little bit with the repaving of Canton Street, what else we were doing?
Yeah, so with Canton Street, we have some minor drainage improvements near Elizabeth Way and near like 1920 and a couple of those businesses. Just some long time drainage issues that need to be corrected. So Public Works will be going out in the next couple of months and making some drainage improvements, and then we'll come back behind them and resurface the road.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, David. Any other thoughts, comments, or questions from council? If not, do I hear a motion? Motion made by Councilmember Johnson. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilmember Worthland. All in favor of approving item number 1, as stated by City Clerk Nancy Long, please do so by raising your hands. Let the record show that the vote is 6-0 and unanimous, and item number 1 passes very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, Greg. City Clerk Nancy Long, would you please read the second item on the regular agenda?
Yes, this item is approval to file for condemnation on parcel numbers 2, 3, 5, 7, and 23 of the Riverside Road T-Splosh project, also presented by Greg Nicholas.
Thanks so much, Nancy. Welcome again, Greg.
Thank you. So this item is for the Riverside Road T-Splosh project. Just a little bit of background. This project will construct a continuous 8 to 10 foot multi-use trail from Riverside Park to Old Alabama Road on the south side of Riverside Road, a 5-foot sidewalk on the north side of Riverside Road, and the same distance from Riverside Park to Grimes Bridge Road, Dogwood Road, and then a roundabout. These are not total property takes. The right-of-way acquisition is just small easements and small right-of-way strip takes that are needed for the project. And we just, like I said, we got this approved. Right-of-way was authorized back in 2024, and we just want to move this project forward and are anticipating going out to bid here first quarter next year. And this will help move this project along.
Thank you, Greg, very much. City Clerk Nancy Long, are there any Roswell residents who'd like to speak on this item?
Yes, Mayor, there is one speaker, Jason Yao.
Welcome, Jason.
It'd be no surprise that I am fundamentally opposed to eminent domain proceedings as a property owner. This is probably due to the eminent domain effort here is probably due to the roundabouts, or is it also the width of the road? Because there's an 80-foot right-of-way here. It's the typical right-of-way for a road is 50 feet. If you can't do everything you need in the 80 feet, your road is badly designed. Donald Rumsfeld liked to say that you don't go to war with the army you wish you had, you go to war with the army you have. And I would like to see these corridor improvements take the same philosophy. You don't go to design your roadway with the right-of-way you wish you had. Design it with the right-of-way you have. And roundabouts that are being used as traffic calming devices, they're very expensive traffic calming devices. They're useful for facilitating traffic flow. They are terrible devices to use for traffic calming because they cost a lot of money. They cost more than a lighted intersection. It's just bad design, and this is the kind of thing that slows the road projects down. When you have to do eminent domain, it slows your process. It increases your cost, and it leaves you with less money to do other things. It's a bad design. And as far as the north side of that corridor, getting a sidewalk with curb and gutter, what a waste of money. People are going to walk that corridor, they're going to cross the street. The Pine Grove corridor is only getting a multi-purpose path on one side. Why does this one need a multi-purpose path, a sidewalk on the north side that nobody's going to walk on? Did you ask the residents how they felt about that, the property owners? I'm sure they're not thrilled about it. It's not the place for a sidewalk. It's a place to waste money. It's a place to cut trees. But it's not doing anything for public safety. It's not doing anything for as a public amenity. And the roundabouts on this road, what a waste of money. Slowing your process, wasting your money. Bad design. I hate bad design. I hate wasting money. That's all I have to say on it.
Thank you, Mr. Yell. Appreciate your comments, sir. Council, City, Nancy, that was it, right? Council, any thoughts, comments, or questions on the matter at hand? Councilmember Johnson?
I just want to say, yeah, I knew that we would probably get questions about this design and roundabouts. And, roundabouts, studies have been done across different states. Reduce injury crashes by 75%, fatal crashes by 90% versus lighted intersections. Reduce pedestrian accidents. That's from Ohio State DOT. Reduces pedestrian accidents by 10 to 40%, according to Florida Department of Transportation. European studies showed a 75% reduction in, pedestrian deaths, accidents. And Mr. Mayor, I believe in a God, and I assume he has a sense of humor, right? He invented the platypus, so that tells me he's a pretty funny guy. And it never ceases to amaze me when someone demonstrates repeated, well-documented competence, yet maintains absolute confidence in it, to the point that one is forced not to admire the results, but to acknowledge the extraordinary discipline required to remain so confidently, consistently wrong. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Johnson. Any other thoughts, comments, or questions from council? Councilmember Beeson?
I just want to clarify on the document itself, the spec. It looks like these are the parcels. It's really just the frontage on the parcels to allow for the sidewalks to be built and for the roundabout in one section. On the south side, there are multi-use trails. There is also a crosswalk or multiple crosswalks, pedestrian crossings. There's also bike lanes. So the goal is to be able to improve mobility, especially for recreation mobility along the Riverside corridor. That was also some input that was received from the River Parks Master Plan, 10 years ago?
Yes, ma'am.
10 years ago. But just looking at the picture, you're like, holy cow, you're buying these people's entire yards. And it's just the frontage on the yards.
Thank you, Sarah. Yes, ma'am. Any other thoughts, comments, or questions from council? Thank you very much, Greg. Thank you. Do I have a motion on the matter at hand? Motion made by Councilmember Johnson. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilmember Hills. All those in favor of item number 2, as understood and stated each by City Clerk Nancy Long, please do so by raising your hand. Let the record show that the vote is 6-0 and unanimous, and the motion passes. Thank you very much, Greg. Thank you. City Clerk Nancy Long, would you please read the third item on the regular agenda?
Yes, this is approval of a supplemental resolution of the Mayor and Council of the City of Roswell and Downtown Development Authority approving the final terms of the Downtown Development Authority taxable revenue bonds, Economic Development Project Series 2025, and other related matters, presented by Joseph Cusack, Assistant City Attorney.
Thanks, Nancy. Welcome, Joe.
Thank you. And Mr. Mayor and Council, if you'll remember, in September, you adopted a resolution to enter into these economic development revenue bonds for the parking deck at the Hill Street development. We have come back. What this supplemental resolution does and brings forward is the pricing on those bonds, so that that pricing is now finalized and we can proceed towards closing this transaction in this calendar year, which was important for the developer's timeline and the timeline of this project. So this is a supplemental resolution to adopt that pricing The city, as you'll remember in that initial IGA that was part of this resolution, pledged the backing of 3 mills to get this pricing, and I believe Mr. Gottschall will have some good news on how that pricing came out today. But that's what this supplemental resolution does. It updates that initial resolution that was adopted in September. It updates the IGA with this final pricing, and the DDA adopted this final pricing at their meeting at 6 o'clock today. So this is important for closing this transaction, and actually this is the final piece of the puzzle to close this transaction and move forward.
Thank you, Joe. Bill, anything you want to add on the pricing model?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you for the time. Okay, so we completed pricing at an auction this morning at about 11 a.m. We had a number of bidders. I included the top 5 bidders in the table above with assistance from our advisors at First Tryon Advisors, specifically David Cheatwood. And we also have bond counsel Jim Woodward back there if we have any specific detailed questions, legal questions about the offering. So we priced the bonds, or the bond offering was $18.6 million. The resolution was up to $25 million, but based on the models and the work with the developer as well as our advisors as here, we determined that $18.6 million was the actual amount that we needed. So we did not have to go up to the full authorized amount. I believe you also authorized up to 7%. Our model on Hill Street was predicated on a 5.5% interest rate for the bonds. And as you can see, a successful lowest true cost of interest bid was 5.141%. This is almost 40 full basis points below the actual bond offering. So given that the pricing has come in the way it has, this is what we refer to as an amortization table or payment schedule. This includes amount borrowed, principal payments, interest payments. So when we get done incorporating these numbers into our pro forma that was originally based at 5.5%, we estimate that the actual rate from the offering will result in a reduction of debt service by the DDA of about $55,000 per year. This means the DDA and the city by extension will begin to receive project payback sooner than expected. We'll have more details on when that project payback happens, but this will also decrease the amount of capitalized interest during the construction period and the amount of interest paid post-construction period. So obviously we recommend acceptance of this pricing and supplemental resolution.
Bill, thank you. Thanks for that good news. Well done. Let's see. Nancy, I'll come to you. Are there any Roswell residents who'd like to speak on this item?
Yes, Mayor, one speaker, Jason Yell.
Welcome, Jason, and we look forward to your comments on the item 10202.
I'm just wondering, can you tell me who is the guarantor on these bonds?
The city has provided an indirect guarantee of up to 3 mills of our property tax base.
So we are on the hook, personally, the residents, the businesses, the property owners are the guarantors for a loan that we have not been consulted on. Our permission has not been given explicitly. So if it goes south, we take it on the chin. It's wrong. Very wrong.
Thank you, Jason. Appreciate those comments very much. Was that it, Nancy? Thank you very much. Council, any additional thoughts, comments, or questions? Councilman Sells?
Bill, why don't you talk a little bit about the contract for the spaces that covers about, I want to say 55%, something like that, 50 to 55% of the payments will be coming from contracts for spaces from some people. So talk a
So
little bit.
there are 2 sources of dedicated spaces that are contractually obligated at this point. One will be the multifamily housing users who will have dedicated parking space in the upper half of the deck. And then the commercial businesses are also contracting dedicated spaces for their customers, employees, and other interested parties So that payment stream is already dedicated to and as part of the security of the bond repayment process.
And then there is also the ground lease.
There is also a ground lease between DDA and Atlantic, and that ground lease will pay roughly the remainder of the bond. So we feel at this point the risk to the city on the indirect guarantee is de minimis.
Right. And to pull the project together and to complete the things that we wish to see happen in this space, the economic development that we're talking about doing. So the company, or excuse me, the city has used its balance sheet as an inducement to get people to do things that they wanted to do, and it's hedged by the payments that we have contracted in the process of building the business model and the parking deck. Is that basically what we're saying?
Right, that is exactly what we're saying. If you look at the last bullet on the first slide I just went back to, we went through a rating evaluation in connection with this bond, and
Right.
even though it's DDA's rating, they do look through the balance sheet of the component units as well as the city, and we reaffirmed our AAA rating with both agencies. So they are pleased with the condition of our balance sheet, our budgeting process, our reserves, and the way that we allocate for contingencies.
So just to put this in context, do we, and you may not know this off the top of your head, and if you don't, that's fine, but what is the total investment that Atlantic Companies is making on this property?
It's 140 million.
I think it's 140 million.
Is that about right?
Yeah, I
Okay,
think it's 140 million.
So a developer is putting at risk $140 million, and the city is essentially putting nothing at risk except for our good name in the event that everything went to hell. But even then, the ground lease is still going to pay, or we have reversion rights. So,
Right.
okay, so that's the rationale behind this, just so
Ellen,
there's
would you-
no misunderstanding.
Just for clarity, would you explain what reversion rights are, just so that everybody
Certainly,
understands
yeah.
what, so.
We're the ultimate creditor on the property, essentially.
And can you explain that? Because obviously there was a kind of a commentary around risk and credit profile. So what does that mean, obviously, if you have reversion rights? So let's say, to your point, let's say everything goes wrong and there's a calamity of magnificent proportions in the economy and there's zero performance.
We would get our property back at the end of the day.
Okay.
Is that fair, Joe? If you are going to do economic development, we are certainly going to take on some risk. This is quite prudent. It is hedged. It is well thought out, and the comparable investment by third parties would not happen were we not to take this step.
If I could add just one clarifying point to that, when you talk about the indirect guarantee of the city and the $140 million project, our guarantee only extends to the bond offering for the garage deck, the 18 point something million. It does not cover the 140 million. I think that's a really important point to make here. That is Atlantic's risk. That is their shareholder risk. That is their lender's risk, not ours.
That's correct. And one last point is, and that is, I believe, I have not looked at this in a while, but the current property is generating about $15,000 a year in property taxes. And I believe the model is, what's the expected when we get to stabilization? What's the property tax expectation? Setting aside sales tax and other sources.
About 400,000.
Perfect, thank you.
What's the ground lease worth?
What's the ground lease worth? It's 360, 380?
And it escalates.
70.
Yeah, 670?
670.
It has an escalation clause in it to keep up with inflation.
Yeah, just, I think, to your point, Alan, I don't know if you wanted to kind of, like, what's being responsible and what's being irresponsible, right? Is it using an asset to help diminish tax burden upon the residents, or is it not using an asset to continue an ongoing tax burden?
As a resident, I am pleased to see us use our balance sheet to attract businesses. This is the kind of thing that we should be doing, and I'm darn proud to see it happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Sells. Any other thoughts, comments, or questions from council? Thanks very much. If there's not, do I have a motion on the item? Motion made by Councilmember Sells on item number 3. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilmember Johnson. All those in favor of approving item number 3, as stated earlier by City Clerk Nancy Long, please do so by raising your hands. Let the record show that the vote is 6-0 and unanimous, and item number 3 passes as stated. Thank you very much. City Clerk Nancy Long, would you please read the 4th item on the regular agenda?
Yes, this is approval of the architectural design of the townhome development in the Hill Street Overlay District Area A, presented by Michelle Alexander, Director of Community Development, but I think that must be it must be Jeff Leatherman.
Michelle, you look different.
Thank you, Nancy. Welcome, Jeff, Michelle, Jeannie.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to kick off the presentation, and then we have both Michelle and Jeannie if we have any technical related questions as we work our way through the next phase and truly the last phase of the Hill Street project. This is the consideration of the architectural design for the townhome development in the Hill Street Overlay District. We just talked about the parking deck, and very exciting, and congratulations to all that were involved in that parking deck. Mentioned the DDA as a component and a significant component of this project, and really appreciate their help and support over the last couple of years. This is a project that we've been working on for the past 4 years. It is boundaried by Atlantic or Highway 9. At this screen, it's on the right-hand side. This is a view from City Hall. As you're looking at this, you can see our police department station as well as the old jail, the water tower in the center of the project, as well as some private property that has been assembled as a component of this project. And this is just for context, so that we remind ourselves. We've talked quite a bit about Hill Street, and as Mr. Cusack had mentioned, this has come back. We talked about it in September when we were originally doing the bond work, and here we are in December. And so from time to time, I just want to give a quick recap and then work our way through to the townhomes items that is before us. For context, you can see the police department and the jail on the left-hand side of the screen. The townhome location will be just in front of or on the Ellis Street side of the jail. That is where the parking deck is going to go as part of this project. We have a pad of 16 townhomes that has been transferred as part of this deal to the DDA. The DDA has gone through a procurement process, selected a developer for those townhomes, and as part of the overlay, the townhome architectural design is required to come back before this body for approval. Just for some context, as we start to think about the existing buildings along Hill Street, along Ellis, within this area and within this district. These are some of the images and some of the buildings that are currently there along Ellis Street. You can see the AT&T building, of course our police department building and jail, the storage unit that's down on Ellis and Oak. This is in and around Hill Street. You can see the Hicks Automotive. We're very excited to be able to incorporate that as part of this project. That building will be removed and redeveloped as part of this project. You go a little bit further down to the photos on the left, the old sign shop on the corner of Hill Street, and then all the way over onto Oak Street, and you see some of the buildings along the bottom. Those are along Oak Street that will be on the southern edge of this project. You can see in the very center photo, there's a little tinge of the yellow house that will be demolished as part of this project. That is where the multi-family buildings will be going, 143 units. As you recall, there was originally about 99 units on this parcel. We've spread them out, brought them into the center of this project as we've been working through the design parameters. These are some additional buildings along Highway 9 that are in and around this area. And I show all of these to say that we're really excited. Councilmember Sells is represented in his open comments that we're generating right now about $15,000, $16,000, $17,000 on the commercial buildings on an annualized basis. Hicks Automotive, the old sign shop, and others. And this area truly has been prime for a redevelopment project. We see that in our economic development strategy, both in the downtown area, also in our midtown, uptown, and on the east side. We have areas of our community that have been, in some cases, 20, 30, and 40 years old, and have been preparing and been ready for redevelopment. And the Hill Street corner is very similar in that nature, where we've got buildings that have run its useful life, and their useful life. We've been able to construct a deal that brings in city property and the relocation and centering of our public safety center at Summit, all working as part of this project over the course of the last 4 years. And just as a general recap, you can hear all of the moving parts to get us to this point. That includes the relocation of our police department, combining them with the fire department, the relocation of our 911 facility, and also then the recovery, I will say, of our commercial areas. This is what we're getting into the future. And this is the vision that we've cast around Hill Street. You can see, for reference, the water tower in the center of the property, the adaptive reuse in the foreground of the police department. You can see the new parking deck that will be constructed that you all just approved to back. And then the buildings and the common areas that will be reconstructed. If you can look in your mind's eye on the right-hand side, that's where you see the sign shop in the photos that I showed earlier. The Hicks Automotive building will be replaced with this redevelopment of about 80,000 square feet of commercial, 143 units of residential, 16 townhomes, and again, the adaptive reuse of an existing building, which is our current police department. The parking and reconstruction of the street that you see in the front will also be part of this project. So all very exciting work that we've done over the course of the last 4 years. The last component of this project is the 16 townhomes and the townhome development partner. This truly is the first time that we've had a public-private partnership of this style within the city of Roswell. And we are bringing this forward to you for consideration in those 16 townhomes. These are the images associated with that. You can see on the left-hand side the parking deck. These are 4 of the townhome units. And then you can see the alleyway just on the right-hand side of the screen. There will be alleys in the middle of these townhome developments that will allow access into the garages. Again, you can see the parking deck on the right-hand side. The intent of the size and scale of these townhomes are to screen and block the parking deck. And so that's why we've allowed the height that we've allowed, the stories that we've allowed with these townhomes, so that we can transition from a commercial development into a neighborhood development, which is right here on the edge of Ellis. As we think about the criteria for approval, I'm going to read through these. The proposed development is new construction and will not impact any historic structures. So there are no historic structures that are there on site. Further, it's not adjacent to any of the existing historic structures that would serve as a driving architectural reference. And you can see that from the photos that I showed earlier. The scale of the building and arrangement, texture, and materials of the proposed townhomes have elements that are consistent with the existing and proposed surrounding development, namely the Hill Street development. Elements, note, are varying of brick, neutral paint colors, and the addition of what appears to be a stone water table style variation of materials. Proposed design includes arresting and striking effects that create an overall pleasant aesthetic to the buildings, and the density proposed is consistent with the existing development in the area. Again, we're evaluating this with the assumption that Hill Street moves through to full redevelopment, and so that becomes part of the project and part of the evaluation criteria overall, not just what you see currently on the block and on the streets of this area. These are also some of the front elevations associated with it that we reviewed. The rear elevations as it relates to the slope of the existing ground and as it backs up adjacent to the parking deck, and the side elevations as well. Our recommendations, so as part of the overlay process, we had HPC in 2 different meetings review the submittals that were provided by the developer. There was mixed report backs and the materials as well as the overall aesthetic. We have 7 recommendations that are included with your packet. I will not read them word for word. They are included as part of our motion recommendation tonight for the council to approve these. These will give us the guidance that we need as staff when these come for formal approval process through our building team to review and ensure that they're consistent with the overall design and intent that the council has for this development. I'll stop there and offer any questions, Mr. Mayor.
Jeff, thank you. Michelle, thank you. Jeannie, thank you. Nancy, I'll go to you. Are there Roswell residents who'd like to speak on this item?
Yes, Mayor. We have 4 speakers. The first is Don Horton.
Thank you, Nancy. Welcome, Don.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm a little concerned that the design of this project is not really fitting in our historic district. The roof line particularly, and my understanding when I was on council, the historic overlay took precedent over any zoning issues. I don't know when that changed. It may have changed since I was on council. But when we talk about an historic district, and our historic district is on the National Register, there are certain design guidelines that we have in the UDC, and I don't see that on the particular project that we're showing right now. It seems to me that we're getting in the habit of putting things in our historic district that don't really follow those UDC guidelines for our historic district. Take a look at what happened at Mimosa Hall. The building, the outbuilding that's being built there has nothing to do, no historic context whatsoever. It's got a stone facade. The roof line doesn't match anything in that area. If we take a look at the outbuildings over at Bullock Hall, you'll see that they're all clabbered. There are different roof lines. They look like they fit with the project, but the one at Mimosa Hall doesn't fit historically with that particular area. Then we take a look at the parking ramp, and once again, that doesn't fit with the historic nature of our community. It's the design that I'm concerned about, not the project itself, the design I'm concerned about. It looks, well, if we were to take a look at Southern Post and some of the buildings on the south side of the city that are in the historic district, they reflect the mill industrial area that we had in the mid-1800s. And what they did with Southern Post was to try to pull that in to that particular project. The current parking ramp doesn't do that. It's really a much more contemporary looking facade, and even the materials, the brick, everything looks like it's just cookie cutter. So I'm concerned that we're sort of eliminating the kinds of important characteristics of our historic district. We're slowly making it much less historic looking. And at some point, we're going to have to quit calling ourselves Historic Roswell. I think if the HPC had been, I don't think they gave an approval on that design. I may be wrong on that, but we're not paying attention to our HPC. Our HPC, and well, historic preservation commissions in many other communities have a lot more say in the types of developments that take place. We have all sorts of things in the UDC that can help us with those development ideas, those design ideas, and we're just not taking advantage.
Thank you, Mr. Horton. Appreciate your comment, sir. Thank you. Nancy?
Yes, the next speaker is Judy Meir.
Welcome, Judy.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Before I get into how I feel about all this, I want to thank those of you who are leaving us and for all that you have done. I'm president of the Roswell Historical Society. I too will be rolling off of that position in January, so I understand. But I particularly want to thank Will and Lee for everything that you did to help us with our museum. It is going really, really well. We've gotten over 5,000 visitors to the museum already, and I invite all of you to come and see it if you haven't yet, because it just keeps getting better, and we're working on that right now. And thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your respect and your help with the Roswell History Museum as well. Now we get on to the other part of why I'm up here. For many years, I was on the Preservation Commission. For many years, I was chair of the Preservation Commission. And we always went by the guidelines because we felt that it was our solid gold was our historic homes and buildings, and people come to Roswell because they want to see historic Roswell. It's less and less historic Roswell with these things that are happening. And that townhouse building is definitely not a Roswell historic design. There are so many other buildings, old buildings and rather new buildings that we worked on with the guidelines to make them look like they fit here in Roswell. There is a storage building right down the street over here that we worked on to make it look like more of a mill building, and I think that turned out to be a beautiful addition to our historic district. I think particularly the townhouses just are not historic in our community. They may fit into another one, but not in Roswell. There were several buildings, and another really good example are the bricks. Those were the apartments for the mill workers, and they were repaired and built onto, and they're just beautiful. That is our character. And there's several other brick buildings that have been built in the past few years that just fit in, and it wasn't standing out that it was something very different and not really what would be termed historic. So I am very disappointed that this never came before the HBC for us to look at and comment on before it was just approved and ready to go. And I'm really asking you all to think about this. And before it is something that just can't be undone, please consider there's so many wonderful designs that we could put in that area. In fact, one of the last years I was on the commission, we had a development design for that corner. And we tried to make that look historic as well. I'm happy that you're keeping some of the buildings that are there. But this particular building, I think, it just doesn't fit in. And I really ask you to think about what is really important. That's our historic nature here is what draws people in, because we're different than any other place. Milton and Alpharetta had to create a historic district. In about 200 years, they'll be as historic as we are. That's how it is. And we just really want to keep that wonderful feeling that we're back in the old days when this was a mill town. And when we moved here from Wisconsin in 1981, there was still a mill and pants factories, and that's what Roswell was. That's what it was built on. So please, please consider this before we can't do anything about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judy. Thank you for your service, Judy, to our city. Nancy.
Next is Liz Jackson.
Welcome, Liz.
Council, and I ditto everything that Don and Judy just said, including thank you to all of you for the many hours that you put in to trying to make the correct decisions for Roswell. I am in support of the Hill Rose Market. I think the concept is wonderful, and I think we all want it to be the best that it can be. And in my mind, the only way we can do that is if Roswell remembers. Roswell must remember why we are here as historic Roswell. It is because Roswell King came up from Darien, a coastal Georgia region, in 1839 to create a working mill district. He put in the cotton mills. He established the he established the mill that became known for its fabric that they produced, the Roswell gray, for the Confederate Army until 1864 when the Union Army arrived in our fair town. Now, James King was the manager of that mill. And in case you haven't connected the dots with that James King, he also was the person that built his home between 1851 and 1856, which is now on the National Ledger for Historic Homes, and it is our Allenbrook, which is right off of Highway 9. Now, if you look at Allenbrook, or if you look at pictures of Allenbrook, you will notice a steep roof design, which is consistent with the Georgia coastal designs from whence these people moved. So the roof line of his home is steeply pitched, not a mansard design. Where did the mansard roof come in? Well, the mansard roof became popular during the renovation of Paris, beginning in the 1850s. It was frequently used for large civic structures, government administration buildings, city halls, hotels, railway stations. It came to Canada and the United States, but of course, for most of us Southerners, we weren't into that because this was real popular in New England. An example is the main building of Vassar College in Poughkeepsie, my apologies for mispronunciation, New York. In Atlanta, yes, there is an example of mansard roofs. The Marble House in Decatur is a Second Empire building, Victorian style, made popular in the 19th century. The Georgian style was common style in Georgia coastal areas, steeply pitched roofs, also common with colonial style. Now, I ask you, don't rush into this, please. As Judy said, don't make a mistake that we can't take back. Mansard roofs are not what Roswell remembered. For the Providence group that made this presentation, all they had to do is copy and paste, because they got one of these units down in Buckhead, and guess what? We just whip out those plans, revise them a little bit, mark here and there, plop it down in the middle of Roswell, and boom, away we go. Don't let the Providence group come in and take away what the citizens and the children of Roswell deserve to see in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you, Liz. Nancy, you have one speaker?
Yes, the final speaker is Sally McKenzie.
Welcome, Sally.
Council. I'm here tonight to piggyback on what the other three folks have talked about regarding the looks of the Hill Rose project, and particularly the townhomes. But I want to speak on the process and the problems with it. It's my understanding that a historic district is an overlay district itself. I know that Hill Rose or Hill Street is an overlay district as well. One is a zoning district, a historic preservation district. They operate under different rules and regulations, but they coexist. One does not trump the other, they work together. So the fact that the city created the Hill Street overlay is fabulous, but if there is ever a conflict, historic district regulations and zoning regulations imposed by the Hill Street overlay, the historic district regulations, the more restrictive regulations win, because those are the regulations that protect the character of the district, of the historic district, which is a public asset as redevelopment occurs. They have to win. And to add to that, the fact that the design decisions that this overlay allows for review and approval by mayor and council versus the HPC is downright scary. It makes the HPC's job obsolete. You're totally taking away their power, or really their ability to protect, to do their job, which is to protect the historic district and leverage it for vitality. It is arbitrary what you are doing. It's honestly a lot of gall to say, hey, mayor and council, we're going to make the design decisions for this project. It's really putting a lot on you. That's a big thing. You are impacting the way our historic district is going to look with no help. It's the 7 people in power right now are making this decision, rather than the HPC, whose job it is to make this decision. I'd also like to beseech you to please bring back the third-party architect report, which was eliminated maybe 7 years ago after Vickers and the Hobo House projects, because basically it made it very difficult for those projects to move forward. They proved that the city was making some very detrimental mistakes that permanently impacted the character of the historic district. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nancy. Council, any thoughts, comments, or questions on the matter at hand? Yeah, Joe, do you want to speak to any technical items?
Sure, just to sort of correct some things, the historic district is not an overlay. When the UDC was adopted in the early 2010s, the historic district prior to that was an overlay. When it was adopted in 2013, 2014, the historic district zonings went in as they were today. So all those zonings that were done by the overlay were put into the code on the UDC on purpose to do away with that overlay. So that is why the Hill Street overlay now is on top of those historic zoning districts, which now over there we had a civic use and then a prior automobile use. So the additional uses that were in the Hill Street district now apply via that overlay. So there's no historic district overlay anymore. That was a prior creature to this adoption of the UDC. Further, when we're talking about the decisions of mayor and council from the HPC perspective, the reason why the overlay was done with these coming straight to council was an appeal of any HPC decision. If there's an HPC decision, the appeal is to mayor and council. They are the final arbiter of the decision. So this was done to make this project expedient. HPC also reviewed this project. They made comments on this project, which are incorporated. Also, ComDev staff looked over these recommendations, helped HPC with these recommendations, made their own recommendations. So this is not just skipped over 6 or 7 people on the HPC. This is ComDev staff who deals with the historic district every day, using their expertise to help make these comments as well. So I just want to correct, when we talk about processes, these are the processes that occurred for this and the why they happen.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate that. Councilmember Beeson.
Jeff, can you go back to the slide of what's currently on the property? Right there. I'm just going to go ahead and annoy everyone in this room. Does this look historic to you? this what slaveholder Roswell King would have wanted for Roswell? This trashy looking dumpster area, a mechanic shop, busted gravel lot. Go forward one more. All of this, guys, like none of this, not a single picture in here is anything that generates from the 1850s era of when Roswell was founded. I see hands going up. But in terms of the district itself, my opinion is when you start to try to synthesize something that does not have anything historic within the context of the building surrounding it. Right now, the context of the building surrounding it is a windowless AT&T vault. What is that? Service center. That historic AT&T service center. Alexander Graham Bell himself made the first call from it. I don't understand using the context of the entirety of a historic district that was not developed in unity. Within just the strip that you guys were talking about is a completely different era of the mill era, which is a completely different concept of the main drag on Canton Street. That used to be just houses and not developments in those buildings. Then you had the general store area, you have the south part where you're going down on the square. Even though historically within context, they're all in different eras. This is a continuation of more eras. Go to the design of the building itself. I hear people saying that it's hideous. I don't understand either the concept of mansard roofs being truly offensive to a group of folks. I just spent the last 10 minutes flipping through again for the third time the UDC recommendations and see nothing about mansard roofs within the historic district. There are no recommendations beyond the materials for the building. So the materials actually comply. It's a mix of high quality materials, the wrought iron, the brick, as well as the frontage, the hiding of the garage. All of that's compliant within the UDC. I will call out an individual speaker, not by name, but I distinctly remember this person being very upset about Vickers being developed on the old historic gravel lot. Automotive lot. It's where the first Model T was ever driven. I'm joking, it wasn't, it's a gravel lot. And that person also frequents it quite often now with the Vic and all of the developments that are in there and hosts several parties there when supporting a lot of the people who are up here on the dais when they were running for office. So I get that change can be a knee-jerk reaction for folks. I understand the compliance of being within the historic district, but at this point, you're not replacing any historic building with these. You're replacing a night.
I'm sorry, excuse me. The speaker on the floor, thank you. Excuse me.
Are all mechanics trashy in your opinion?
Excuse me.
Are all mechanics trashy?
No, not at all.
You said that you said mechanic trashy?
Excuse me.
Sir, please. Thank
I
you.
said that the lot itself is busted, and you can go back.
Hold on, please.
Excuse
Hold
me.
on, please,
You
hold
s-
on.
You spoke uninterrupted.
Please.
Uninterrupted. Allow her to speak uninterrupted. One speaker, thank
The
you.
development itself has been in the works for 5 years now.
Guys, if you can't allow her to speak uninterrupted, I'll ask you to leave the room. It's pretty simple.
It's not very decorous, her attacks.
You know what?
Ms. Hall used profanity from the dais
Sir,
2 weeks ago.
sir,
You didn't chastise Ms.
sir,
Hall.
sir.
Please, sir. Wilson, Mr. Johnson, Ms. Hills, don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out.
Thank you, sir. Merry Christmas. Thank you. No, absolutely. Sally, would you please allow her to speak? She has the floor. Sally, would you allow her to speak? Thank you.
I will also preface this with, I am one voice on the dais. I am not speaking on behalf of any of the other elected officials who are up here. I also will say too that there was an entire group of appointees, boards and commissions, staff, people who specialize in this, who also weighed in on it. It's not like any of us up here were sketching out any type of architectural designs. It was what brought forward. It complied within the UDC for how the rules are currently written, and in terms of what is in the surrounding area was a significant improvement architecturally speaking. I understand that you disagree with me. We can all disagree with each other. I have nothing against mechanics. I have nothing against What else is there? A sign building that I believe is currently there. Obviously, anything that is currently functioning within that area was a necessary use in order to operate a city. I go to a mechanic myself. You don't want me servicing my own car. So it's not that I'm trying to be elitist. It's not that I'm saying that I disagree inherently with making sure that the design is improved. I'm saying that the process was followed and it doesn't necessarily hinder what is in the area or what it is replacing.
Thank you, Sarah. Councilmember Hills? Councilmember Sells, sorry. Go ahead, Councilmember Hills.
Thank you, Mayor. When this first came under my nose, I'll go on record and say the mansard style is not my favorite. It's not offensive to me, but it's not my favorite. We had some comments come in across all of our desks, and I thought, I probably ought to go look into that. And thank you, Ms. Jackson, for some of your history of the buildings and how things have matriculated over the years, and even in France. You noted, not a call out, but you noted mostly civic buildings, professional buildings, office buildings. In the mid-17th century, these were homes, and the mansard roof was actually done to be able to build out the attic and either rent it out to other people or to be able to get additional space, because the French were taxed for everything under the roof line but nothing above it, or by height. And so it was a way to cheat the system. And I kind of think that that's what we're doing here with the roof line, is cheating the system a little bit, and it's in a great effort to disguise or shield one's eyes from seeing the parking deck from behind there. I'm all for that. I will say too that there were some comments I know that I had seen come across our email about curiosities about different bricks and different brick styles, and then the same with the roof line. And on these, you can see it's staggered a little bit because of the topographical challenges over that way, and that's what Canton Street looks like. Almost every single building is brick on some level, painted, or a different color brick on Canton Street. And the parapet or the roof line, they're all snaggletooth. They're different sizes. Almost every, except for 1.5, are flat roofs on Canton Street from this intersection up to Norcross. And I also had heard a comment, and these are all good comments. So I'm not critiquing anybody in particular about those comments, but about the roof line not looking like anything else. And this is a flat roof, and that's predominantly what's been in our historic district. Then somebody also had mentioned, which also the old bricks, a flat roof. And then Founders Mill was another example, flat roof. If this looked like Founders Mill Townhomes, that is a newer development, this would not fit in at all with this Hill Rose project and then this city hall right next door. And thank you, Councilmember Beeson, for pointing out some of these things, just what fits in. I love that, is it Founders Mill? No, it's Old Bricks, I'm sorry. The Old Bricks does have a pitch roof on it. It looks almost identical to the police station that we're saving. The roof line has no eave, it's straight up on the walls, pitch roof. So we have a lot of elements that we're saving on this Hill Rose project. And no, it's not 1,000 years old. It's from 1992, the police department. But I just thought it was interesting that so many of the things that are unique to this area are being represented in this. And while I don't necessarily love the mansard roof look, I think this is very elegant. It's going to draw a great tenant, owners. It's going to improve our economic drive downtown, and it's not right out on front on 92, I mean on Highway 9. You'll come around and see it, and people will come and go, but I'm in support of it. The idea that we would benchmark what historic aesthetics look like based on Southern Post is beyond me. That does not belong in the historic district. So I'm not saying that this supports Southern Post, but I do not think that Southern Post is an example of how to design a historic building, which, by the way, you cannot build a brand new historic district building. But I understand and respect putting elements in that nod toward the historic district. So I will be supporting this tonight.
Thank you, Councilmember Hills.
Thank you.
Councilmember Sells?
Yeah. She did touch on one thing. Jeff, do you mind stepping back up and looking at a couple of pictures with us? Keeping in mind this picture first, but let's go to the overlay, the actual district, so we show exactly where these are going to be. Oh, I think you just went past.
Like the overhead shot, or?
If you got an overhead shot, yeah.
This one here?
Well, no, at the as-built rendering, that, right. So we're talking about, I'm not sure what the white stuff in the background is, that's not part of the project, but
Correct.
looking behind the police station, the townhomes would be the left edge of that parking deck.
That's correct.
Right? Yeah. And am I right about that?
Yes, you are.
And the grade is running down the hill from that, correct?
Correct, yeah, so that, the high point, really is there where the water tower is, and everything slopes, left, right, back to front, from the high point at the water tower.
Right, it's a tough piece of dirt, there's no doubt. But the purpose, the reason that these are as massed as tall as they are is specifically to basically line that parking deck and make that not visible. And there have been many, many comments by many residents talking about how ugly the parking decks are, and they don't like parking decks. And this was a way to do a couple of important things. One is these pads are going for what that comes to the city?
So the total transaction is just over $4 million for all 16 pads combined.
Right. And so the price point for these is going to be pretty substantial, sitting on a $400,000 piece of dirt. So they're going to be high end for sure.
Correct.
And also the square footage mattered, to Lee's point about why these are squared up as opposed to pitched more. That is two. One, it hides the top deck floor. And two, it's because these are rather pricey condos. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. And do you know what's the tax going to be generated just from those 16 townhomes? Which is
I do not know that off the top of my head.
Right,
I
okay.
apologize.
Well, look, and I say it all the time, and I realize that some people think that it is untoward, I suppose is the right way, or unseemly to think that we should consider what a piece of property renders in terms of taxes as we think about what we do in economic development. But as a steward of your money and a resident, that is my job. That is my job, is to make sure that we are taking advantage. I and others in this room have talked about renovating or revising the gray fields that we have throughout the city. I don't know of a grayer field than the one Sarah just took us through that needed revision than this one. And so this is why that stuff matters. And you have to look at the whole totality of both the economics as well as what this does for the district and driving traffic. It will be a benefit to Canton Street in terms of traffic, in terms of the draw. So this is a great project. I will be supporting it as well.
Thank you, Councilmember Sells. Any other thoughts, comments, or questions from council? I will say this. Yeah, Councilmember, yes. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember
Thank
Hall.
you, Mayor. Yeah, just following up on Council Beeson's comments and some of the feedback we got from residents today, and I understand that the HPC also had mixed comments. We're all human, and some of these things are subjective, but I did spend a fair amount of my day, probably north of 6 hours, basically going back to the original work by TSW and creating our HD master plan and our UDC design guidelines. And basically, I'm not going to rehash a lot of this, but some of the statements that I got from our documents and from TSW, these are just some snippets that the master plan's narrative and code amendment sections describe preserving defined character areas. This is actually behind the Highway 9 character area. And it also goes on to say that it permits appropriate new styles where historic constraints are minimal. So again, the historic aspect of this is minimal in my opinion because it is on the back of the project. It's not front-facing. It's not on Canton Street. It's not on Highway 9. Another snippet that I will share from some of the process when they were identifying historic district, they basically said their analysis revealed no prevailing pattern throughout the entire district. So our entire district does not have a prevailing pattern. Another area out of the code, or the, the district master plan, in areas where fewer resources, such as along Highway 9, the code allowed for greater flexibility in new construction. And then just mansard roofs, as Ms. Jackson educated us on, are rooted in the Second Empire tradition, are historically recognized across Georgia and the United States as compatible with 19th century development patterns. They offer distinctive character while meeting design standards for scale, proportion, and material integrity. So for these reasons, and we don't have any reason not to go with this style, I will be supporting it as well.
Thank you, Councilmember Hall. Councilmember Worthland? All right. I'll just say, let me just kind of just on a macro make a couple of comments. So, and this will be obviously for the new mayor and council to consider, but one of the things we've been working on, and Mr. Director, Senior Vice President Leatherman is working on this with his team now, is a comprehensive, radical review and reformation of the UDC. And in conjunction with that is a radical attempt to get clear about what the historic district is and what the historic district is not. And there's been a great deal of, I think, when I was listening to Judy Mayer and Liz Jackson's comments, what our hope has been is to get people like Judy and Liz in the room, among others, and to say, look, let's clearly define what the historic district is, and let's clearly define what the historic district is not. Let's clearly define it among economic development standards, which is really the ideal behind the state, and let's clearly define it along preservation standards. And then along that, tying that into guidelines on a reformation of the UDC so that there's clarity for code for everybody, for this rules can be followed by whether it's a business from outside of the city or business inside of the city or a council or an HPC or a planning commission or the DRB, that everybody has clarity about what the rules are. And recognizing that one of the weaknesses that we've had as we looked at this is that it's been a very subjective process. Whether or not that person, the group of people is right or wrong, the problem is that the process has been subjective. And that what we wanted to do, and I hope that perhaps the new mayor and council will do this, is in terms of actually reforming the UDC, which is an incredibly flawed document. And in doing so, also tighten up the HPC, what the historic district is, what's preservation, what's economic, and then creating very clear guidelines that can be followed by everybody, and for that not to be subjective. And that's one of my challenges that I've seen, is that when I look back too often, there was too much subjective criteria brought into historic pieces, and I still hear it. And that's why I'd like to have people like Judy and Liz going forward as part of teams like Mark Donalo and teams like current people on there, and help be part of the design process of what the historic district is and is not. But we're a long way from there. And as I think Sarah correctly points out, there's a lot of romanticism about what the historic district is. But the reality of what the historic district is much different. And I think the pictures that you saw up there that most of the community is familiar with is not romantic. It's old and tired businesses from the 50s and 60s and 70s. Yeah, so it's not romantic at all. I think we as a city, aspire to create a historic district that will have a sense of pride to it, that will have longevity and clarity to it. And I think everybody's agreed on that and wants that. But I appreciate everybody's comments, and I appreciate everybody's passion along this subject. And thank you very much. All right, council, if there are no other comments or suggestions or questions, I'll ask, is there a motion to be made? Councilmember Johnson, would you like to make a motion on this, please, sir?
I would. Should I?
Would you read it?
Yes, and then what do you want me to say for the HBC recommendations? Include the? Yeah. Okay. This is a motion for approval of the architectural design of the townhome development in the Hill Street Overlay District Area A to include the HBC recommendations.
Anything? That's it? All right, so you made a slight amendment there, correct? Okay. The slight amendment, I was kind of dozing off there in my world. Tell me what the slight amendment is. I apologize.
To include the recommendations and Jeff, do you want to show? Oh, right there on the screen.
Okay. HBC recommendations to be included in the adoption of this.
Yes.
Okay. Is there a second to that? Seconded by Councilmember Hills. All right, everybody understand the motion made by Councilmember Johnson with the recommendations as suggested here by the staff I guess those are things that were suggested by the HPC, is that correct? Outstanding. Does everybody understand this motion is made by David and seconded by Lee? Everybody understand it? All in favor of this, please do so by raising your hand. Let the record show that the vote is 6-0 and unanimous. Thank you very much. City Clerk Nancy Long, would you please read the next item on the regular agenda?
Yes, this is approval of a memorandum of understanding for the Mansell Overlook property presented by Jeff Leatherman, Deputy City Administrator and Senior Vice President.
I'm going to be quick on this one. Daryl's going to go ahead and bring up the presentation, and I'm going to ask Daryl to review this. He's been working on this with the project team, and we'll present this item, Mr. Mayor.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of council. These next three items relate to the economic development strategy and furthering the strategy for the city. The first item, we are requesting approval of a memorandum of understanding for the potential redevelopment of the Mansell Overlook property. The MOU would be with Sunbelt Office 1 LLC. They're the owner of the property. We are looking to explore with them the potential mixed-use redevelopment of the property. In Roswell, there are two office buildings, which you can see there. There's 300 and 500. It's about 362,000 square feet on about 24 acres. There's some additional acreage that's across the street in Alpharetta, which is actually to the bottom of the screen. The potential uses for the redevelopment would be commercial, residential, office, educational, and civic uses. MOU that we are proposing is a non-binding MOU. It essentially allows for the developer and the city to do some planning, talk about the project, and do some due diligence. It does not commit any city funds or does not approve any development. All future agreements subject to council approval. We are asking that you make a motion to approve a memorandum of understanding between the City of Roswell, Sunbelt Office 1 LLC related to property, and authorize the mayor.
Thank you, Darryl, very much. City Clerk Nancy Long, are there any Roswell residents who'd like to speak on this item?
There are no speakers for this item.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Council, do you have any thoughts, comments, or questions? Councilmember Beeson.
So just to clarify, this is not a binding agreement. This merely just allows the MOU. So with the new administration coming on with the understanding that the majority of council and mayor are going to be changing, they are not held to anything. They can withdraw from the agreement at any time, and otherwise it will dissolve on its own if it expires, correct?
There is a termination right that we have, which is 30 days. It does not bind the...
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Yes, sir, Councilor Sells.
I'll be quick. Yeah. So Darryl, let's just briefly speak about what we're trying to accomplish with this. There is a time clock on this piece of property that is imposed by financial circumstances that is maturing in the near future. Is that a correct statement? Okay. And what we are trying to do in this council to pass to the next mayor and council is to preserve the right to have that conversation. So what we're trying to do is to demonstrate that we are interested so that the other side, in any transaction, it is a marriage that moves through a series of dates, okay? And so what we're trying to do is to indicate our interest as a city in being a part of this large piece of commercial property that is going to trade whether we like it or not. Is that a fair statement? All right, so I just want to be really, really clear. That's what you do with an MOU. The purpose of an MOU is to begin a conversation, and that's what we're doing. And we say some things about what it is we and they want to do. That's why it's a mutual understanding. And that's what this is all about.
Thank you, Councilmember Sells. Any other thoughts, comments, or questions from council? Being that there are none, is there a motion to approve? Motion approved made by Councilmember Sells. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilmember Mortland. All understand item number 5 as read earlier by City Clerk Nancy Long and agree with its adoption and approval. Please do so by raising your hands. Let the record show that the vote is 6-0 and the motion, the approval of the MOU moves forward. Thank you very much. Thank you, Darrell. All right, see Nancy, I think we have item number 6.
Yes, this is approval of a memorandum of understanding for the proposed West Alley development, presented by Darrell Connolly.
This particular project, you know, the West Alley Hotel project that we've been trying to get up and running for the last 10 years or so. This is an MOU between West Alley LLC and Founders Row LLC to explore potential mixed-use redevelopment of that property. Property is on Mimosa and Magnolia. As I mentioned, it's previously planned as a hotel. It has about 5 acres of property. This, again, is a non-binding MOU that allows some due diligence and planning. There's a 90-day exclusive standstill agreement for a standstill period. Essentially, if there can't call a default within that period of time. But this allows the conversation to continue. West Alley, the current property developer, they'll provide site access to Founders Row as a master developer. City will help to facilitate planning, zoning, and permitting. Does not commit the city to any funds or approve any development. All future actions subject to recommending motion to approve a memorandum of understanding between the City of Roswell and/or the Downtown Development Authority, West Alley, Founders Road.
Thank you, Darrell. Thank you very much. City Clerk Nancy Long, are there any Roswell residents who'd like to speak on this item?
There are no speakers for this item.
Thank you so much, Nancy. I'll bring it to council. Are there any council members who have any questions? Yes, ma'am, Councilor Beeson, sorry.
Same question as before. Does this bind incoming mayor and council to any type of agreement, any type of development, or moving forward with anything, or is it simply just to negotiate or open a negotiation table?
Not bind the mayor and council. Other and have.
Got it. So in the event that incoming administration decides not to move forward with the project, they're not beholden to anything. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Beeson. Any additional thoughts, Councilmember Sells?
And likewise, just the same question, and that is, there's a time clock on this as well. Some things have occurred in the recent months, actually weeks, with respect to the existing developer and the emergence of a new developer. And so all we're doing is what?
Stating a conversation.
Yeah, and so we're trying to make sure that they recognize, because it's important to third parties, it's important for their fundraising, that they see that the city has an intention to have this discussion, because that moves the project forward. And this project is, how old is this conversation?
Approximately 10 years. I think the first proposal was about 10 years.
Okay, so we don't want to filch it away because we don't indicate that we as a city are interested in this project that we have had in our eye for 10 years. So that's why this is now.
Thank you, Ellen. Any other thoughts, comments, or questions from council? Being that there are none, do I hear a motion? Motion made by Councilmember Sells on item number 6. Is there a second to council? Seconded by Councilmember Hall. This is for item number 6, approval of memorandum of understanding, MOU, for the proposed West Alley development. All in favor of approving this MOU, please do so by raising your hands. Let the record show that the vote is 6-0 and unanimous. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Darrell, thank you, sir. City Clerk Nancy Long, I believe this is the last item on the regular agenda.
Yes, that is correct. This
Item
is
number 7.
approval of a non-binding letter of intent between the City of Roswell and the Spot, Bratislava, Slovakia, also presented by Darrell Connolly.
Welcome, Darrell.
This is the last item. It's approval of a non-binding letter of intent with the Spot, Bratislava, Slovakia, and to explore a joint economic opportunity. And Spot is a co-working space in Slovakia. It's a central hub for local startups and the tech community. They essentially connect talent with capital and mentors. Purpose of the LOI is to explore a joint economic opportunity and accelerate a relationship. Focus areas include healthcare, technology, defense, software, cybersecurity, education, and innovation. Particular project would help to foster international business growth, innovation, and cultural exchange. LOI is non-binding. It will allow for conversations and exploration of this accelerator program. Does not create any legal agreements, again, are subject to separate council approval. Approve the non-binding letter of intent between the city of Roswell and the spot. Authorize the mayor.
Thank you, Dale, very much. City Clerk Nancy Long, are there any Roswell residents who'd like to speak on this item?
Yes, there is one speaker, Janet Russell.
Thank you very much. Welcome, Janet.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Why are we even doing this? What a waste of words. Motion to approve a non-binding letter of intent. Now, how many of you have been to Bratislava? Me too. Why all of a sudden, who is the contact person for Bratislava in our city? Did they come to us or did we go to them? I don't have anything against Bratislava, it's a nice place. However, I have to question the motives. Who is the driving force behind connecting us with a company that's a co-working space, because I read about them, in Roswell, when there's no legal, no financial, it's just we're going to send good vibes? Sounds like a bunch of baloney to me. And I'm all about international, you know that. I'm all about expanding our little world. However, what a waste of money and time that we're even putting this on the agenda. If they want to come here and do business, let them come here. But I want to know who's the driving force behind us contacting them or them contacting us, number one. Number two, there has been a problem with this format that you have, Mayor, where you have to put in a card if you want to talk about an agenda item. That's okay, I get that. But when some information is spoken during the agenda item that is misinformation, a person who didn't intend to speak until they hear the misinformation doesn't have the right to say, excuse me, that is incorrect. We don't get that opportunity. We have to know in advance. We have to be like telepathic and what are they going to say and what is it going to be and all the little single details. Otherwise, nah, you're out of here. I don't think that's a very good format. I wish you all the best in the new year, but I want to know who's the driving force behind this Bratislava thing. A co-working space, we already got one and it doesn't work very well.
Thank you, Janet, so much. Yeah, you want to? Yeah.
Sure, Daryl. Why don't you talk about the capital that this group is bringing to bear? And
Wasn't my question.
I get to ask the questions, Janet.
Mr. Sells, I can stand up there and then I'll.
Thank you, Ms. Russell. Your time is up and appreciate your comments. Yes, ma'am, your time is up. Thank
I
you.
didn't use all my 5 minutes.
Your time is up. Thank you.
Mr. Sells, I didn't
I
ask
have a
about the
question for
capital.
Daryl.
Ms. Russell, your time is up.
Mr. Leatherman, who's the driving force?
Thank you, Ms. Russell. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
So, Ms. Russell, the question from Mr. Sells is the capital that is potentially being brought by entering into conversations around this LOI is, it's several millions of dollars is the potential.
It's a fund, isn't it?
It is a fund, and the opportunity is that we have international companies that are looking to either establish or begin doing business in the United States, and in some cases here in the city of Roswell and Fulton County. And the opportunity that we have is we've started to work through our economic development strategy as we think about aerospace, as we think about the technology companies and the surrounding or knock-on effect that that may have here in our community. We have often and are often reached out by other investors and other companies looking to engage within the city of Roswell. And just as we talked about with the MOU, really the intent for us, in both of these MOUs and the LOI, is to not only signal to our partners that we are open and willing to have a business conversation of how we can support our commercial activity and our economic development strategy here in the city of Roswell, but it also notifies our community that we are working diligently on our economic development strategy. And we want them to be aware that there are a number of companies that we are working with. It's early in the process. We don't know exactly what these relationships may develop into in the future. But we want to signal to not only our partners in this, but also to our community that we have an opportunity to potentially create a redevelopment opportunity. Now, this may take several years of relationship building over time, like many of these deals do. And again, this is very early in the process for us just to get started, and that's why they're non-binding in nature. We're not sure exactly what this relationship may develop, and as we get more certainty, we bring more certainty to this body and to the future bodies to either have a formal agreement, whether it be a development agreement or a formal relationship, that this body and future bodies will get to vote on, which is what Mr. Conley was referencing to with future action by mayor.
Are you at liberty to say the name? If you're not, that's fine. The name of the fund that's behind this?
I am not at this point in time.
Okay,
But you are at liberty to say how it initiated and where this came from and why it came from and what it means.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so I think, and I don't know if maybe Councilmember Hall wants to step in on this part of the conversation, I think, and maybe have a couple of commentaries on the work that she's been doing, because I think she can probably speak to it best.
Thank you. I'd be delighted to. So on the heels of the success of our trip a year ago to the Czech Republic and recruiting PBS Aerospace, we've had a lot of outreach from the areas are actually very small there, the surrounding countries, and one of those was Slovakia and Bratislava. So that was the outreach to us, and we did visit them in November as part of our trade mission, and met with the spot, and they're very, very excited to engage in a relationship with us. They basically have over 1,500 members, and what they are is an accelerator. So these are proven businesses that are successful, that are looking for a soft landing, and this would be an ideal spot. So many of these jobs, again, are technology-based. They're aerospace-based, air technology, things of that nature. So we can accommodate those in our city. We can't go and recruit like a Korean battery factory. We just don't have the space. So we have to recruit the types of businesses that are going to bring the types of labor that are paying the kind of wages, the engineering type of wages, north of $100,000. So that is the purpose of this, the idea of engaging with this organization, The Spot. So hopefully that adds some clarity.
Thank you, Christine.
One more comment.
Yes, sir, Councilman
I want to speak to the issue of, look, I have done many deals in my day. I have done many deals. Mr. Woodward back here is our counsel on the bonds. Do most deals start with an LOI in your experience? Term sheet and LOI, exactly. I mean, this is the way these negotiations always begin. It is an expression of your intention and their intention, and you're trying to close a gap that exists between two independent parties that don't have to do anything together, and you're trying to move them together. And that's what a LOI does. I have never done a deal that I didn't start with an LOI. It's just the way it's done.
Thank you, Councilor Sells. Any other further? Yes, ma'am, Councilor Beeson.
Daryl, I bet you know what question I'm going to ask you. Does this bind future mayor and council to anything? Since this is a non-binding letter of intent, and they are able to back out, cancel, or renegotiate the contract at any time. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Councilor Sells, you good? Any other thoughts, comments, or questions from council? Thank you. Do I have a motion on the matter? Councilor Call, would you like to make a motion?
I'd like to make that motion. Thank you.
This is you want to state it, since this is yours?
approval of number 7 of the non-binding letter of intent between the City of Roswell and the SPOT, Bratislava, Slovakia.
Perfect, thank you,
Thank you.
Councilmember Hall. Is there a second to Councilmember Hall's motion? Seconded by Councilmember Sells. All those in favor of approval, item number 7, as stated by Councilmember Hall and seconded by Councilmember Sells, please do so by raising your hands. Let the record show that the vote is 6-0 and unanimous, and congratulations and thank you very much. I think,
Mayor, I have two items, if I may, before we
course.
move to the attorney's report. The first item is we have a very special guest who is here on behalf of the City of Johns Creek, Bob Emirali. If you would like to come up and address the mayor and council.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Bob Emirali,
welcome, Bob.
Johns Creek City Council. Not here by accident. I'm here to applaud good work you folks are doing. Back in 2021, both me and the mayor got elected at that time. The first experience I had of meeting with him is very humorous. And he shook my hand, which I could not forget. Then I realized he's from the Army. I've said about it, but today, I'm not here by accident. There are two countries, two consulates holding an event. I was supposed to be there, chose to be here. Because my friend, Mayor Kurt Wilson, is going to preside over this meeting. In your leadership, we in Johns Creek got used to seeing you rack up so many accolades. That caused us to work harder. And we became the #1 city to live in the entire USA, thanks to the competition. But here, I'm here specifically because I come from a different and a neighboring city. What stands out in your leadership, I want to highlight it. You know, previous to our council, there were councils here, there were councils there, but there was barely a handshake. Thanks to your leadership, I have so many friends on this council. Not just me, all my council knows at least 2-3 people on this council. That makes projects which we both undertake, Johns Creek and Roswell, and a little more easily. The other aspect which I want to highlight is, thank you for steering your permanent fire department into in-house. That has a bearing on safety for us in Johns Creek. That is your legacy, which will be deeply appreciated by both city staff and citizens of Roswell, as well as city staff and council of Johns Creek. I'm here to say thank you. And I also want to wish both my colleague and friend Lee Hills and you, Mayor Wilson, God bless, Godspeed, and to the citizens of Roswell, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and hope Roswell and Johns Creek do well. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. And Mayor, I also, if I may have a few words, and I've prepared, or the staff have prepared, a little slide presentation as I went down memory lane, and if we can go ahead and run that while I'm just rehashing just a few things. I think you'll enjoy them. But I just want to acknowledge Mayor Wilson and my colleagues on this council, my departing colleagues, Lee, Will, David, and also my serving colleagues, Sarah and Alan. We basically broke a 30-year legacy of inaction in our city in a big way. It's not to say that prior councils didn't do some daily maintenance and keep the city lights on. They just didn't carry a vision forward. not the way that Mayor Wilson did when he came in. And I have experience on the 2 years before these 4 years. And I saw basically a mayor and city administrator that didn't trust each other and were at each other all the time, a council and a mayor that didn't trust each other and were at each other all the time, a council and city administrator and staff that didn't trust each other, and it was truly a dysfunctional organization. And those that were here, I know that you know what I'm talking about. Mayor Wilson, your leadership and working with all of us to carry the vision forward for what the residents of this city want. When I ran for council, I remember Positively Roswell was interviewing folks, and they asked me, what is it that you want? And I said, what I want is, I want to take all of these plans that we've done, our economic development plan, our parks master plan, our bike ped master plan, our vision for Roswell, and put them all together and execute them. Well, in the first 2 years, that just wasn't going to happen. But that's exactly what happened when you came in. We went through all those plans, thousands of hours of input from our residents. Our residents took their time to tell us what they wanted. They wanted to be safe. They wanted quality of life. They wanted parks. Thousands and thousands of comments. And we were able to, under your leadership, to take that and deliver that and start delivering it over these last 4 years. We basically modernized a city that was stuck in the past. 30 years ago, we had 45,000 residents. Today, we're approaching 100,000. When I came in 6 years ago, operations were still the same as they were when we had 45,000 people. Nothing was updated, or very little was updated. I mean, including technology. I mean, look at how fast BlackBerries went out. I mean, we were before the BlackBerry age, you know, when I came in. It was in the pager era still. Thank goodness we have the new website now. Our budget was, I think, like $30 million, and it's $200 million. And it's not that we've grown the budget, but we've grown as a city. As part of that, we have brought in, under your leadership, Mayor, we've brought talent in commensurate with managing a $200 million budget. We've brought economic development on board, close to probably $1 billion in projects in the pipeline. I mean, that takes talent, that takes management, and what you've done is elevated the staff that we have. So many of our staff members have been elevated and recognized, and also under, I'm not ignoring Randy, but under Mr. Knighton's leadership as well. I mean, it's remarkable what this organization has done. I'm going a little off script here, but I won't go through the accomplishments, but the public safety. Just when I came in and under the prior mayor's administration, we were in the news for police flipping coins to decide if they're going to write a ticket to somebody. Basically, we were having trouble keeping the police department staffed. I mean, we are now fully staffed. The culture has changed. People are so proud to be in our organization in that area. Fire department, don't have to talk about it. I mean, people say, oh, why don't you do that overnight? Well, you know, it's $5.8 million a year permanently. I mean, you have to find those savings somewhere. You have to become efficient. You have to be able to budget for that. It's a 5-year plan. I mean, we're close to a 5-year plan to eliminate property taxes, but, you know, that's up for the next mayor and administration. I guess we'll carry that on. But the, just, we are driving economic development. We are driving what we want, what the residents want. When, in the prior 2 years, the attitude, and I don't want to put this on Marcelo Zapata or Mike Palermo or myself, but the other 3 council members, basically, one of them had to have police outside her door because she said, we're going to accept this project in East Roswell, all standalone apartments, because it's better than nothing. Well, that's the old standard. Our standard is we are demanding excellence, and this is what we want, and we are driving that train. And that's because the processes have been put in place, because under your leadership, we've been able to do that. We've put in systems that sustain progress. You have built an organization that will continue. Electeds come and go, but the organization change that we have made is solid, it's permanent, it is staffed for the future. Basically, it's staffed to grow. And so thank you for building the foundation for Roswell's future so that we can continue on the path that we've started, hopefully not even miss a beat. Thank you for the transition plan. As when you came in, there was no transition plan from the old mayor. It was just show up on January 5th or 4th or whatever that first business day is and figure it out. And unfortunately, previously it was the same way. But your graciousness to have Mayor-elect Robichaud come in and all of the newly elected council members, to bring them up to speed so that they can make informed decisions. I mean, that's class, that's leadership. And I just thank you. I mean, we've gone from being a better than nothing city to defining our own destiny. That's leadership, and that's Roswell. And thank you to the mayor and to my colleagues, existing colleagues and outgoing colleagues. Thank you so much.
No, that's a wrap. Yeah, I will hit the gavel in a minute. Christine, thank you. So many people say thank you too. It's been an amazing 4 years. Number one, first, and it's come back in vogue for kids on college football to say, give thanks to Almighty God. And they're so right, because I love it. Now, they're obviously giving credit on success. And you know, as you get older, you got to give credit. You got to praise God when things don't go well as well. But this has been an amazing group of people from top to bottom. And Mr. Knighton and the team, Don, Bill, David, Joe, I could go on, Jeff, Sharon, I mean, on and on. I mean, I'll miss some people because the staff has been incredible. Jim, Babel, just an incredible team. It's hard to explain how good this team is. And then, thank you, Christine, as always, to give me credit when I don't deserve it. It's been an amazing team of elected leadership. And one of the things that Sarah, Will, Christine, Lee, Alan, David, you guys are simply amazing. And I hope one day that the entire city will understand the work that you guys have done and will appreciate it. Randy knows. Randy's been in this game for a long time. And he knows listen, a lot of people get in elected office, and it's hard. It's also tempting. I think it's easy for people not to do the right thing because you get such pushback. And this group has showed amazing discipline. And I'll share with you a cautionary tale. A cautionary tale that I think is worthy of reminding. I don't have to tell anybody where we are in 2025. We have 18 years of smartphone activity, 18 years of social media activity, 18 years of zaniness that's impacted our culture in an adverse way, where we're getting less able to talk to one another and where we're getting less tolerant of one another. And the three most dangerous words in the English language are, I am right. And I can't tell you how much I've heard that being in this chair. And one of the things that I think is called for is that, continue a sense of humor. Continue to have a sense of humor first and foremost among thyself. First of all, look at thyself when, don't be so damn sure you're right. And that happens way too much. It happens way too much in this city. And there's a level of terrorism that takes place in this city where people I heard a comment like, give us a chance to respond. If the council responded to all of the pieces of misinformation, mischaracterizations, and wrong narratives that were put up here at this dais, we would never get through a meeting. It's constant. And yet, so I believe that, from a leadership perspective, you have to be disciplined. Our job is to continue to move the ball forward for our fellow residents. Our job is to be engaged, our job is to be informed, and our job is to make decisions. Our job is listening because we are also fellow residents, and we're in this spot for a short period of time. But I will say to you is that there's an intolerance that exists in the city that's not good for the city. There's an intolerance of being able to listen to somebody, and if they're not in your tribe, whatever that tribe is, then you don't listen to them. And I see it all the time. I see people get up and walk out as soon as somebody else is talking. That's not healthy. That doesn't make us better as a people. And so I would say to you, whether you like me or dislike me, that should be immaterial to the ability to be able to listen to me and for me to listen to you. And if it's simply a hatchet game, it's a losing proposition for the city. And if you're taking people out because they're not in your tribe, not because you disagree with them philosophically, but because they're not on your tribe, you're not doing the right thing. And so I will tell you that my hope for this city is thank you for the transition. Because I don't know, we've had a transition in 60 years, Christine. And so I thought, that is crazy important for me as the outgoing mayor to support the incoming mayor. And for me as the outgoing mayor to support the incoming council. Bottom line, because this is a tough job. But the main thing is, most of us, the overwhelming majority of us, care about Roswell. And most of us agree on most things. We have some differences, but the differences are small compared sometimes to the largeness of the argument. And I would say that's something we need to take into account a little bit more. But enough for me. I don't think we're doing closure, are we? No closure. So I'm going to say, hey, God bless every one of you. God bless you, amazing council. God bless you, amazing staff. Mr. Knighton's been amazing. God bless you guys, you're amazing. God bless you. Thank you, family, for being here. God bless you. I can't believe you put up with this for 4 years. You're incredible. I love you guys. I love you, Roswell. God bless you. Have a great Christmas, great Hanukkah. We'll see you later. Bye-bye. We're done. Right? Yes. Can we get else? I got to pee. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.